An EU battle group is a military unit adhering to the common security and defence policy of the European Union, often based on contributions from a coalition of member states. Each of the 18 battle groups consists of a battalion-sized force reinforced with combat support elements. The groups rotate actively, so that two are ready for deployment at all times. The forces are under the direct control of the Council of the European Union. The battle groups reached full operational capacity on 1 January 2007, although as of July 2015, they are yet to see any military action. They are based on existing ad hoc missions that the European Union has undertaken and have been described by some as a new standing army for Europe. The troops and equipment are drawn from the EU member states under a lead nation. In 2004, United Nations Secretary-General Kofi Annan welcomed the plans and emphasized the value and importance of the battle groups in helping the UN deal with trouble spots. Background: battle groups as a combined arms military unit based around an infantry battalion or armored regiment are not a new concept. However, the initial ideas for specific EU battle groups began at the European Council Summit on 10–11 December 1999 in Helsinki. The Council produced the headline Goal 2003 and specified the need for a rapid response capability that members should provide in small forces at high readiness. The idea was reiterated at a Franco-British summit on 4 February 2003 in La Touquet, which highlighted as a priority the need to improve rapid response capabilities, including initial deployment of land, sea and air forces within 5 to 10 days. Quote, "This was again described as essential in the headlined Goal 2010. Operation Artemis in 2003 showed an EU rapid reaction and deployment of forces in a short time scale, with the EU going from crisis management concept to operation launch in just 3 weeks, then taking a further 20 days for substantial deployment. Its success provided a template for the future rapid response deployments, allowing the idea to be considered more practically." The following Franco-British summit in November of that year stated that, building on the experience of the operation, the EU should be able and willing to deploy forces within 15 days in response to a UN request. It called specifically for battle group-sized forces of around 1,500 land forces personnel, offered by a single nation through a multinational framework nation force package. On 10 February 2004, France, Germany and the United Kingdom released a paper outlining the battle group concept. The document proposed a number of groups based on Artemis that would be autonomous, consisting of about 1,500 personnel and deployable within 15 days. These would be principally in response to UN requests at short notice and can be rapidly tailored to specific missions. They would concentrate on bridging operations, preparing the group before a larger force relieved them. For example, UN or regional peacekeepers under UN mandate. The plan was approved by all groups in 2004, and in November that year the first 13 battle groups were pledged with associated niche capabilities. Tasks: the groups are intended to be deployed on the ground within 5 to 10 days of approval from the Council. It must be sustainable for at least 30 days, which could be extended to 120 days if resupplied. The battle groups are designed to deal with those tasks faced by the common security and defense policy, namely the Petersburg tasks. Planners claim the battle groups have enough range to deal with all those tasks, although such tasks ought to be limited in size and intensity due to the small nature of the groups. Such missions may include conflict prevention, evacuation, aid deliverance, or initial stabilization. In general, these would fall into three categories: brief support of existing troops, rapid deployment preparing the ground for larger forces, or small-scale rapid response missions. Structure. A battle group is considered to be the smallest self-sufficient military unit that can be deployed and sustained in a theater of operation. EU battle groups are composed of approximately 1,500 troops, plus command and support services. There is no fixed structure. A standard group would include a headquarters company, 3 infantry companies, and corresponding support personnel. Specific units might include mechanized infantry support groups, the combination of which allows independent action by the group on a variety of tasks. The main forces, extra support and force headquarters are contained within the battle group package. In addition, there is the operation headquarters, located in Europe. Battle groups. The initial 13 battle groups were proposed on the 22nd of November 2004. Further battle groups have joined them since then. Contributions. Larger member states will generally contribute their own battle groups, while smaller members are expected to create common groups. Each group will have a lead nation, or framework nation, which will take operational command, based on the model set up during the EU's peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Each group will also be associated with a headquarters. 2 non-EU NATO countries, Norway and Turkey, participate in a group each, as well as 2 non-EU non-NATO countries, Macedonia and Ukraine. Denmark has an opt-out clause in its accession treaty and is not obliged to participate in the common security and defense policy. Also, Malta currently does not participate in any battle group. Participating EU member states. Participating non-EU NATO member states: Norway, Turkey. Participating non-EU non-NATO member states: Macedonia, Ukraine. Non-participating EU member states: Denmark, Malta. Standby roster. From the 1st of January 2005, the battle groups reached initial operational capacity. At least one battle group was on standby every 6 months. The United Kingdom and France each had an operational battle group for the first half of 2005, and Italy for the second half. In the first half of 2006, a Franco-German battle group operated, and the Spanish-Italian amphibious battle group. In the second half of that year, just one battle group operated, composed of France, Germany and Belgium. Although EU member states were initially highly motivated to volunteer to fill up the roster, the fact that participating member states have to cover their own costs, which especially burden the smaller states, has made them more reluctant. Besides, many EU member states had simultaneous obligations to fulfill for ISAF and the NATO Response Force, amongst others. This, combined with the fact that EU battle groups have never been deployed, despite several occasions in which they, according to various experts, could or should have been, has led to increasing gaps in the standby roster. Joint funding and actual usage may resolve these issues. Full operational capacity was reached on the 1st of January 2007, meaning the Union could undertake 2 battle group-sized operations concurrently, or deploy them simultaneously into the same field. The battle groups rotate every 6 months. The roster from 2007 onwards is as follows. There are plans to extend the concept to air and naval forces, although not to the extent of having a single standing force on standby, but scattered forces which could be rapidly assembled. Niche capabilities. The following member states have also offered niche capabilities in support of the EU battle groups: Cyprus, Lithuania, Greece, France. Further details on specific contributions. Sweden and Finland announced the creation of a joint Nordic battle group to make up the required 1,500 number. They also urged Norway to contribute in the battle group despite the country not being part of the EU. Recently, the number has been raised to 2,400 troops, with Sweden providing 2,000 of these. According to Swedish newspapers, the price for the 6 months in 2008 was 1.2 billion Swedish kroner, and the battle group was not used. Finland is expected to commit troops trained to combat chemical and biological weapons, among other units such as a mortar company. Lithuania is expected to offer experts in water purification. Greece is pledging troops with maritime transport skills. Ireland has offered bomb disposal experts among its contribution. The Battle Groups project is not to be confused with the projected Helsinki headline goal force, which concerns up to 60,000 soldiers, deployable for at least a year, and take 1 to 2 months to deploy. The battle groups are instead meant for more rapid and shorter deployment in international crises, probably preparing the ground for a larger and more traditional force to replace them in due time. Western Balkans Battle Group proposal. In 2010, a group of experts from the Belgrade Center for Security Policy proposed the establishment of a Western Balkans Battle Group by 2020. In a policy vision titled Towards a Western Balkans Battle Group, a vision of Serbia's defense integration into the EU 2010 to 2020, they argued that the creation of such a battle group would not only be an accelerating factor in the accession of the former Yugoslav republics into the EU, but also a strong symbolic message of reconciliation and security community reconstruction after the devastating wars of the 1990s. Furthermore, the authors of the study argued that such a Western Balkan battle group, notwithstanding all the political challenges, would have a very high linguistic, cultural and military interoperability. Although decision-makers initially showed a weak interest in the Western Balkans battle group, the idea has recently reappeared in the parliamentary discussions in Serbia War Games. In 2008, the EU Battle Group conducted war games to protect the first-ever free elections in the imaginary country of Fontanalis. In June 2014, EU BG 2014-2 with 3,000 troops from Belgium, Germany, Luxembourg, Macedonia, the Netherlands and Spain conducted a training exercise in the Ardennes, codenamed Quick Lion, to prevent ethnic violence between the Greys and the Whites in the imaginary country of Blueland.